You all that I need, I'll be there for you. If you keep it real with me, I'll keep it real with you. Yes.
Welcome to Message Reveal. Message Reveal identifies a vibe, a message, or a story told through lyrics of a song. And you guys, you know how I do every Monday. If you rock with me, thank you so much. But if you're new, I appreciate you coming onto my platform. So as I said, when we have our special guests, I always tell you a few things that our special guest is associated with. So let's get started. One, he's a father, he's a husband, and a grandfather. And when you see him, you're going to be like, what, a grandfather? But you'll see. Number two, he is born and raised from Victorville, California. And we big up wherever somebody is from. So yay, Victorville. However, he's been in Las Vegas for 21 years. So we got to give him daft on that too. And last but not least, he is the owner of Animal Instinct. And yes, we'll all get to find out what that is all about. So you guys, please put your hands together and welcome my special guest, Mo. Yay! Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you are more than welcome. Thank you for saying yes. You can be doing anything else on your Friday, and you said yes to me, so I appreciate that.
Absolutely. However, we can support each other is a beautiful thing, right?
I agree. I agree. So I'm just going to get in the meat and potatoes of what I do. This season, we're talking about love, and the tagline is "Don't forget about the love." So before we even get into anything else, can you identify an area in your life where you forgot about the love?
Ooh, or you forget about the love. More in like family,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
family, maybe friends. Sometimes you forget about the love when it comes to family, right? I think it comes with expectations, but a lot of times, if your family doesn't know your expectation, sometimes they need love, right? Or you need to share that love, you know,
Yes.
um, and communicate a little bit better when it comes to those things. So that's what comes to mind when, we're talking about giving that love or based on the question that you asked there.
Yeah. I think you brought up a great point that we all forget to talk about, the communication of it, the expectation. Like you said, they may think you have forgotten about them, but it may be some things that you were tied to or responsible for, and it makes it seem like the love was not there. So sometimes we have to reiterate to our friends, to our family, like, I still love you, but I'm committed to this right now. Would you
Absolutely.
agree?
Yeah, I still got you. Yeah, yeah. And that's one of those things, right? It's like, yeah, I still got you. I still love you, but that doesn't mean I'm hanging out with you every day. Like I'm on a different path,
Yes.
you know. So that it kind of looks a little bit different when it comes to family.
Yes. Well, Leslie, you spoke of family. Let's just talk about family. When I introduced you at the beginning, I said you're a husband, a father, and a grandfather, which is hard to
Absolutely.
believe. You look like you're every bit of 21. So,
Well, thank you. I'll take it.
so being a grandfather, do you look at life through a different perspective versus having children?
I do. It's crazy. It took me a while to wrap my head around being a grandpa, right? Uh, so my oldest son is 24 now, and on my 40th birthday, he tells me I'm gonna be a grandpa, and I'm like, what? And so yeah, so it took a minute to kind of, okay, like what does that mean? How does that work? What's the rules to the game of being a grandpa, right? And but it's amazing. It's awesome. We're able to. Um, I get my grandson probably at least a couple times a week now. My
Awesome.
son doesn't. He doesn't live too far from us, and the way his work schedule and his wife's work schedule, they're able to drop him off for a couple hours, a couple times a week, and so he's able to hang out with us. So he's about 7 months now, and
Oh.
just to see his growth and development is pretty cool. But then also to give him back is also pretty awesome. I haven't changed. I haven't changed a diaper yet,
Oh wow.
I'm happy about that.
Now
Yeah,
you didn't skated out of some good stuff. That means your wife was changing the diapers, right?
uh, listen, I don't know, but granddad, I don't. Hey, that's not my kid, so I don't. Hey, somebody else better figure this out. You
You
know.
you know what? Well, the main thing, as long as you are loving on him and telling him how special he is, that's all that
Absolutely.
counts.
Absolutely. Facts. Yeah.
Well,
So,
and thank God for whatever lady wife you're married, correct?
yes.
So
Yes.
thank
Absolutely.
God for your wife stepping in. So matter of fact, say her name and give her some credit because I know on the back end I got a rep for the women. Give her some credit.
Yeah. 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 So my wife and the grandma, her name's Kayla, and yeah, she holds it down um, with all of us. So we have three boys, and our grandson is a boy, and her sister's kids are two boys. So it's nothing but boys running around. And but
Wow.
she's the queen of the castle. So I think she gets used to that part. But at sometimes I know, but boys and our shenanigans, we get a little crazy. Stuff gets broken. Things happen.
Oh
but,
wow. Well,
but
long
she
as
holds
you
it down and tries to keep us in line a little bit.
well, good. Long as you don't forget that she's special and because she is the queen. And even if you had a couple more, just don't forget about that specialness of a woman.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's get into, I mentioned that you are the owner of Animal Instinct. So
Mhm.
I'm going to let you tell everybody what Animal Instinct is about. And let's just have a deep dive into what you do.
Absolutely. All right. Sounds good. So, Animal Instincts Academy is it's a martial arts gym where we teach Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, as well as MMA. So, being in Vegas, Vegas is the fight capital. It's been the fight capital for a long time since classic boxing days at the Caesar's Palace. If you follow boxing at all. So, with the rise of mixed martial arts or the cage fighting, as some may understand it to be, the promotion UFC. Uh, I got involved in it as soon as I came out to Las Vegas and started training myself. Was able to compete on the amateur circuit, also as a pro. So I've done amateur boxing, Muay Thai, kickboxing, um, and mixed martial arts and MMA fights. And professional mixed martial arts as well. And so the passion never left me. And after having our second set of kids, it was like, hey, wait a minute. So I'm about to get them started. I might as well have my own place to do it. And so got into the entrepreneurship, and we're going on. We're finishing, wrapping up our second year of having our own gym. I was coaching out of another gym before that, and had a following and had people I was training, and then had the opportunity. God blessed me with the opportunity to get the keys to my own gym, and so we've been rocking for 2 years and steady growing. We're out in Henderson, Nevada. Stop by, check us out. Self defense. If you're looking to get in shape, if you're looking to compete, anything. If you have any questions, reach out to us, and we're here for you.
Okay, so we're going to just go put reverse in the car and we're going to go back just a little. I know
Okay.
you said it's been 2 years and you said you decided that you wanted to teach your own kids and why not have your own. But what it has to be some kind of pull, something to say, you know what, I'm going to have my own. And what was that why? What was that pull to get you to say, I'm going to move where I was, because you said you were at another location, and say,
Sure.
I'm going to do my own thing. What was that pull or that push?
Okay. All right. So being involved in the martial arts world, and once you're in it, you realize how small it is. So I've been around it, like I said, for about 20 years now, and I've been to a few gyms and met with a few coaches, met with and talked to a few gym owners. And you find out the things that you like and the things that you don't like about gyms, right? As a member and as an athlete, as a customer, and so I was always taking this stuff in, and it's like, man, if this is my place, I'd do this. This is my place, But there's always respect, right? And you're at the place, you're still training. A lot of when it comes to the physical fitness and the martial arts world, or combat training world, right? You have great coaches, but their business side is not so good. You got awesome businessmen, but their coaching is not so good, right? And so the idea is to put both of those things together. So my last stint at training out of somebody else's gym was looking to partner with him and get it going. And then as once you start getting to the business side of things, it's like, okay, I got to have my own, because I guess we can't do this like this, right? And so that's where the ownership idea and the battery got put in the back to go ahead and make this happen for yourself. And of course, it's a risk, but everybody, if it's your passion, if it's your dream, go for it, go do it. Because I'm 2 years later, I couldn't even believe that. I couldn't even think about where we would be at right now, right? Just because you're like, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, but you jump in there and you make it happen. And here we are, 2 years later. We're already at over 100 members at the gym. Able
Wow.
to able to pay a couple coaches to help out. So I get a day off now, which is something I didn't even, again, you don't even think about when you first start off. So um, it's been pretty awesome to do. But yeah, so that's what got it started, right? Figuring out that you want it done your way.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think that's amazing, because you're talking to someone. So I have these invisible pews in the back, and you're talking to someone that you don't see, I don't see, but they're like on the edge, like, should I start? Should I not? Is it a risk? Is it a not? I think at the end of the day, if you want to have it your way, so to speak, go in and do it, and you can craft it, but do your homework. And what I'm hearing from you, over the years, you saw the good, you saw the not so good, and you saw what you wouldn't do, and you crafted that together to provide animal instincts, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, doing your homework. So my homework was experience, right? Early on in my training fighting career, there wasn't a thought of having my own gym. I was just training because I loved it and I was young and athletic, and this is what you do in Vegas, right? Um, for me anyway, right? And so after going through all that, you don't realize that God's preparing you for your next, right? As you're going through these things. So gaining this experience has definitely helped me get to the point where I'm at when it comes to, again, the coaching structure and the business side, right? And making sure that there's customer service, and people are understanding what's going on. They're not just walking into a place. Making sure if you have a kids program, you're talking to the parents, right? I was at a gym, and they had a kids program, and the coach comes in like mean mugging and not speaking to anybody, and it's like, they're
Wow.
paying you to teach their kids, like, you can at least say hi, like.
Yeah.
But again, so this is the stuff that through my experience, I was able to take those mental notes and be prepared for. But yeah, so those that are thinking about things, definitely do the research. Um, and the more you're diving in, the more you realize there's people out there that want to support you, that want to help you, you
Yeah.
know. So you don't have to do it on your own. And that the things that you want to do, as long as you're working towards it, all of a sudden there's going to be a door, there's going to be a window, there's going to be something that's open, right? And
You're,
some form of support to
yeah.
keep you going.
I like that. You're talking that good stuff. You said some window, some door. I say it's a frequency. I say this on my podcast all the time. Whatever you do frequently becomes your
Mm,
frequency. So
okay.
if you're in that energy zone of that, you can't help but to pick it up. That I mean, think about this. People that are millionaires, typically the people that's around them are also millionaires because that
Right.
frequency, they're in that same zone. So I would encourage anybody, just like you said, to be in that, to gather that experience, to go be a part of either training or teaching or whatever. It's levels to everything, but to be in that energy zone, you get a chance to pick those things up.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, any field, um, you know, like I said, being in it for as long as I have, guys that I used to train with were running their own gym now, and so
Wow.
I was able to contact them and say, hey, oh, you're doing, oh, da, 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 and they're giving me the game because they've done it, right? Um, or you know, if you're in an industry or in a field, like talk to the person that you want to be, right? If it's the owner in that of that industry, right? Say, hey, I'm looking at growing and getting better. How can I do that, right? Or spending that extra time, you know. So it's really going out there and putting in action, you know, um, making moves. So at some point you can study so much, right? You
What
actually
they
gotta
say, study long, study wrong.
absolutely, absolutely. That's what was that? Cards? Is that cards or dominoes? One or the
Well,
other.
listen, I just hear it all the time. I have these sayings that I use, and sometimes you can be so laser focused and you spend so much time till now you don't even have the avenue to do it because you spend more time. You have to have some action in it. You have to do it. I
Yeah,
do think it's a period where you should study, but not too long. Get in there and get some experience.
yeah. So nothing's ever going to be the perfect time, right? There's no perfect time for parenting. There's no perfect time for grandparenting, right? So, you know, so there's no perfect time for entrepreneurship or doing the things that you want to do when it comes to your career. Um,
Yeah.
yes, put in the work, do your research, grind. But again, at some point, you got to jump out the window. At some point, you got to burn the ships, you know, and, and say, hey, we're
And
gonna make this happen.
yeah. No, definitely I agree. I know for me, anytime I'm starting things, it's like Hansel and Gretel is like little breadcrumbs that come across.
Hmm.
Okay, okay, this, okay, and it kind of leads me to where I need to go. And I'm like, okay, this is how it goes. But again, you have to be in it and you have to put yourself in that process where you can move forward. So, speaking of moving forward, one thing I did notice about your gym, I did some research that I love that you you include the family, meaning you can have private
Hmm.
training. You also have the children, which is so adorable. And also you have the women being a part of it. Typically, it's just the male driven, forceful thing, but we want to get everybody trained and everybody aware of, as you would say, the name of your company, Animal Instinct. So, how did you come up with the name? What was that all about?
You know what? It's been a family thing from the beginning. So you know, especially since you're speaking on that, my my 10-year, no, he's my 11-year-old and my 8-year-old. are training with us every day. They've actually coached a few sessions. They've done like a summer session where they're like assistant coaches and leading the warm ups and doing that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Now, my wife is doing, she's doing a women's uh, Muay Thai fit class, like a fit kickboxing class, as well as helping out with our beginning Muay Thai class. Um, so any women that are kind of unsure, and again, because there's always that when something's new, that uncomfortability, right? And you know, if and I try to think about these things, right? Because again, my experience. But you know, if I was a lady and going into a gym with just dudes all over the place and just staring at you, and like, yeah, hit the bag, you know, I would be uncomfortable too, you know.
Yeah.
So to have my wife there and supporting um, those women, and we have a lot of moms, so it turned into a real family environment where the kids train, the parents train, and so the whole family's training with us now, right? And we have about probably about 10 families, like the whole
Wow.
family is there, right? From the youngsters to the dad to the mom. Um, everybody's doing something at our gym, which
All
is
right,
really
that's
good.
like a church. If the whole family
Yeah,
comes, okay, that's
yeah,
wonderful. So, do you believe that's something that you promote? Like it's something for everyone to come in? Because
yes.
sometimes we're busy and we want to have the family all in one place, whether it's to sit down for dinner or like to come to your place, and each level can be met with what they need.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's been a focus of ours, of mine. With getting my wife out of her shell, because she's a little more introverted, and she's like, but she's been around the fight game as long as I've been around it. So
Wow.
um, so she knows what she's talking about. She knows what she's doing, and sometimes she tries to beat me up. But I'm like, hey, like relax. We're at home now. I just want to brush my teeth. Why are you throwing knees at me while I'm brushing my teeth? Like,
Oh, so she
you
know
know,
what she doing.
yes, yes. Sometimes it's just like the kids, you know. Sometimes I'm like, man, why do you guys know how to do this? Because you know, kids don't stop playing, right? When they're young.
Yes.
Once they get going, they just keep going. And as an adult, you're like, and then they're coming back for more, and you're like, yo, man, hold on, you're throwing punches a little too hard, you know, to be 5 years old. Like, relax.
Well, their
You know?
training is kicking in and they're trying to test it. You know, it's about exposure and now they're testing whatever it is.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that goes with the playtime as well. You know, they play and they learn as well. I mean, it's actually studies that go back, and if you're ever interested, get online, and it talks
Mhm.
about children play is their learning process as well.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Well, when they're younger, now they're a little bit older, so you know, my friends know. But when they were younger, even like 5, 6 years old, I'm like, hey, don't play with them like regular kids, because you're gonna get hurt trying to play with them, you know, because you try to play
Wow.
nice, but
Yes.
my boys, they're trying to throw elbows, trying to kick you in the head. It's like, yeah, hey,
Oh,
man,
all of it. Okay.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Wow.
everybody, I had to warn all my friends, like, hey man, don't play with them like normal kids. If you need to put them down, go ahead and try to put them down. But you're not gonna stop.
Well, now since they're older, they know it's may I ask, do they know like it's a balance between,
Oh yeah,
kind of, yeah. But when they're
yeah,
little
yeah,
like
no,
that, they're learning.
right, right, yeah. So at all time was playtime, right?
Yeah.
So as there was like, hey, no, well, there's a time for play, there's a time to train, right? If I'm not ready to play with you, don't be swinging at me, because now I'm gonna really get you.
So,
Um,
question, does your oldest child, he know how to do jujitsu and the mixed
mhm.
martial art?
Yep, yep. He trained when he was younger, you know, middle school, high school age, and uh, has enough to defend himself, right? And
Yes.
so, and that was the main thing, and building his confidence. And so, when he's in high school, he was training. He's more musically inclined and gifted on the other side instead of the physical stuff.
That's okay.
And yeah, no, it's perfect. But he was still training, and I knew he would be able to make it home from the bus stop, right? So it was
Yes.
never a worry because he knew what he was doing, right? And
Hmm.
he spent some time in the gym. He spent some time training, just for self-defense, right? So he never, um, I think he competed maybe once, but wasn't like looking to be a world champion and do big competitions or anything like that. But
Yeah.
building that confidence, having the self-defense, and we've had a few conversations about his time during high school, because kids are kids and people are going to try to test you and this and
Hmm.
that. He was able to stand his ground and do what he needed to do.
Like, don't play with me. Don't come for me. Okay.
Exactly, exactly.
Yes.
And so then it was learned real quick that he's not one to mess with because he was in the band. So he's been in the band since middle school and did it in high school. And I don't. It might be a different time now, but when I was in the high school, right, the band kids were on the other side and they were a little soft and whatever, right, as being coming from the athletic side. I'm
Hmm.
just saying, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but so I knew I was like, well, he's in a band, bro. He might get tested out there from somebody. So let's make sure you can defend yourself if you need to. So yeah.
Yes. No, that's a great thing. And we definitely want to teach our children some kind of self-defense. So let me get into this. I love music. Music has turned me all the way out, okay, in a good way. And I say that because I ask all my guests this one particular question.
Okay.
Can you identify a song that has either blessed you, distracted you, or provided blessings? Now, before you answer, there's some rules to this.
Mm.
If you can sing, I need you to sing your throat box
Oh
out.
no. Oh no. See, that's
Well, if you
that's
can rap, I need you to come hard in the paint. Do it. But last but not least, if you can't do either one of those, I need you to say it boldly. I need you to say it with passion. Like in the street they say stand 10 toes down. I need to
yeah.
feel it. I need to feel it. So I'll go back to my original question.
Okay.
Can you identify a song that has either blessed you, distracted you, or provided some perspective?
Um, let's see. Blessed, distracted, provided perspective.
And sometimes that can just be your feel good songs that get you up, get you going, or some lessons in a particular song. Whichever one.
Okay. Let's see here. So you know what? I'll give you me and my wife's song. How about that? That's
Okay.
it's a blessing and perspective, but it kind of gives you a guide on where I'm at when it comes to the song stuff. Uh, but but Method Man and Mary J. Blige, all I need. Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
yeah.
that when it was, you're all
Yes.
I need. And he like, girl, yeah.
Yeah. So, so I'm definitely not singing, but you all that I need, I'll be there for you. If you keep it real with me, I'll keep it real with you. Yeah. So that's the realness and the perspective of how I hold it down and how I show my love, right? So
I like that.
definitely not singing to the wife, but she understands.
I like that. I like that. So does she mirror that or that's just your song?
No. She rocks with it. We've been rocking
Okay.
with that for a long time. So just a little background on us. we go back to the 8th grade. So
What?
we, yeah. We were in Spanish class in the 8th grade together.
What? Did you know that was going to be your wife then, or you just thought she was beautiful and was like,
Yeah. Well, I see again, I wasn't on the love stuff, but I thought she was beautiful and I was like, hey, come to the house. Um, but she denied me. She
smart
felt later
lady?
on. Yes. And so yeah, so I've known her for more than half my life now.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy, right? So
Well,
we just grew up together and married now 19 years.
congratulations.
Thank you. 3 kiddos and a grandbaby. So we're rocking.
Hey, listen, you are a blessed man because it's many that cannot say that, and the longevity that you have in your relationship is truly a blessing. It's a story your children and your grandchildren get to tell and talk about what you guys did because your oldest, I assume is a gap. You said 24, and then you have another set.
11 and 8. Yeah.
So did you plan it like that, or it was just something that you're like, okay, we have our one, we're cool, and then you got the baby fever to have more?
There you go. Option two. So I thought we were good, and the baby fever came around. And I didn't get the baby fever, but
Mama
Mama
did.
Bear, yeah, Mama Bear is like, hey. And I'm like, this what you wanted to do? Um, and so the conversation was, okay, we're doing this and we're having another one so that we're not raising another, because pretty much our oldest was an only child.
Mm-hmm.
And she grew up with siblings. I grew up with a brother. And I'm like, we got to have another one, especially we're kind of getting older now. And it was like, I'm not gonna be playing on the floor playing all the time. So I was planning ahead, right?
No,
And
I think that's definitely wise. That was the best piece of advice my mother provided for me. So originally, real fast, I wanted to have four children. I have two,
mhm,
but after I
okay,
had my son, I was like, I don't know. I think I may be good. I'll just love the rest of the children. And what she told me, she said they need to have a memory of someone sharing together, or remember when mommy and daddy did this. And she said if you
mhm,
can have, because some people are only blessed with one and we bless that,
sure,
but if you
right.
can have two so they can have someone to grow up in the household, it would be great. And I bless my mother a million times over for encouraging me, because my two, oh, they like
Nice,
that. Yeah,
absolutely,
so it makes a
absolutely.
difference, and I'm pretty sure you can see because you have the evidence right there, one versus the two together, correct?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I already see the difference, and you know, now they're out of age. They've been doing stuff together this whole time, but now it's like, okay, whatever, y'all go to the park. So they're go to the park. They're playing outside. Come back, whatever. Um, and they got each other's back.
Yeah,
So,
for
and
sure on that one.
right. So it's good to see. It's good to see that, and good to know that they're gonna be all right, and we're
Yeah,
gonna support each other. That's what it's
yes.
about.
Okay, so we talked about you having your own business. We talked about your passion in this mixed martial art and teaching, but the missing component from my perspective is what was the catalyst for you to even began tapping into mixed martial art? Did you have an issue where somebody was trying to bully you, or you just thought it was super dope and you were like, I want to know more about that? And you said over 20 some years ago. So give us the background, how this even came to fruition or you participated in it.
Perfect. So, um, sports has always been my thing. I grew up playing sports, right? Grew up playing football. So I was playing football since Pop Warner Pee Wee days. For those that remember that, and I was I was actually the youngest one because I had a late birthday. So mom signed off on me to play when I wasn't even supposed to play, technically, right? Um, but so always been involved in athletics. Football was the main thing. So early on, it was a dream of college football, going to the NFL, right? Played running back, and so back then, Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, those were my guys that I looked up to, right? And tried to emulate as far as being a running back. And hyperextended my knee before
Wait,
going off
excuse
to.
me. I'm saying, can you say that again?
Absolutely. So I hyperextended my knee, pretty much just kind of blew my knee out.
Mm.
Yeah, playing football. And so then it was over for that,
Oh,
right? Or over for the time being. And but again, that's this athletics and sports and weight training and all this stuff. This is what I knew. This was always been a part of my life. Um, moved, transferred schools, and came out to UNLV. And I actually had a cousin who was doing a little bit of training in his friend's garage on Saturdays. And he's like, "Hey, I know you're an athlete. Do you want to kind of move around with us?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'll check it out." I didn't know much about martial arts at all, besides what you see in the movies, of course, Bruce Lee, all that good stuff, right? Um, and so I get to this garage, and if he told me he was Bruce Lee's cousin, I would have believed him, right? So
oh.
this guy, yeah, he's a little Asian dude, super strong, and I'm like, oh snap, like this is a real, he's really, and we were doing some techniques and stuff, and I'm like feeling his pressure and his power, and I'm like, oh, this dude is solid. Like, wait a minute, this is not a game. Um, but so that kind of started it off, and then when as the UFC was getting more popular, of course I was into it, watching fights and that kind of stuff through the pay-per-views and having barbecues and whatnot. But I had an opportunity to go to some kickboxing fights at the Bellagio. It was there's a promotion called K1. K1 fights battle at the Bellagio. So those were my first live fights, and these dudes was in the ring punching and kicking each other, and I said, "Yo, I got to see what that's about."
Wow.
Yeah. Um, when it's so crazy because at that event, so I went to that event with the guys I was training in the garage, right? Or training with in the garage. At that event, I ran into a former high school um, friend of mine who wrestled, and he was actually fighting at the time. And I saw him at the event. And I'm like, "Hey, I want to see what this is about." And he's like, "Come to the gym and train." And I'm like, "All right, bet." And that started the journey. So
Wow.
being at fights live, and running into a guy that I knew from high school who actually was a fighter at the time, started that journey. And as soon as I signed up to the gym, it was like my first month there, and the coach had signups for little Muay Thai fights, right? So there was just a little, board, put your name, your weight, kind of thing. And so I sign up. I'm not even in the gym a whole 30 days,
Oh,
right? And
wow.
I sign up to fight. And the next day I come back, and the guys that are in the gym, they're like, "Hey, you got to talk to the coach because he doesn't know who you are and you're on this list." And I'm like, "All right, no problem, whatever. I'll talk to him." And so we had a conversation, and he's like, "So, Maurice, what's up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I want to do it. I mean, I've never been one to sit on the sidelines, and so I want to jump in here and see what it is. And if I get beat, I get beat, but I want to see what's going on." And I only had gloves, so I didn't even have like headgear. I didn't
Oh,
have all the
wow.
proper equipment.
You were trying to
I was
get yourself hurt. That's what you was trying to do.
yeah. So he's like, "Well, if you if you come, every day until the fight, then I'll let you fight. And I'm like, bet. Easy
So did
enough.
you
I'll be
go
here.
every day and show up every day to fight?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he gave me that stipulation. And I'm like, all right, done. That's not even, I'll be here, And so took my first fight within 30 days of actual training. And it was what they call a Muay Thai smoker. This was this was back in the day, and those that have ever competed are familiar. But a guy by the name of Master Toddy was out here, and so it was a gym, and he's from Thailand, right? And so where Muay Thai originated. So the gym is like super hot. So many people. They're playing this traditional Thai music. There's like these horns going on. So it was like so much stuff that I wasn't even aware of happening, right? And so my opponent is from that gym who knows how to kick, and I'm like, and he's just blasting me with these leg kicks, and I'm trying to touch him up, but he's like, wow, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get him. So we go 3 rounds. He wins the decision, right? Because he was definitely doing more than me. And then the next day, I wake up and I go to get out of bed and I put weight on my legs, and I'm like, oh, I was in a fight. Wait a minute, I can't stand on this
Oh, wait a
leg,
minute.
right?
So you're saying originally your body probably was in protective mode, so you didn't feel
Yeah.
nothing like getting in a car accident at the beginning. Oh, I'm good.
Yes.
I'm good. Next
Yes.
day.
Yeah. That next morning, tried to get out of bed. I couldn't walk on my leg. That's how tough he was touching me up.
Wow.
And then I looked down, my leg is nice and purple. I was like, "Ooh, I didn't know we could even change colors like that. I didn't know we could do that." So
Wow. He was
let
giving
me
it
lay
to
up in this
you.
bed. Yes, yes. But I loved it, and I was like, "Yo, I gotta get my get back, and I gotta learn this, and I gotta be involved in this, right?" So from that point on, I kept going, and here
Funny
we are.
to this day.
Yeah.
Funny that you say that. So, as you're describing, you go into this gym, it's warm, you hear the music, the atmosphere plays a big thing. And I'm saying all this because I think everything happens divinely. I turn on my Instagram and I see this little girl in a competition with another little girl. And literally the girl, I mean, they can be, getting each other down, and she had her in a lock and then she flipped her, and then it's back and forth. What I see from that, and you can tell this baby was, when I say dog tired, she was dog tired. But her dad kept saying, you got this, you got this, you got this. She didn't win. But what I noticed from that, and this is what I want you to talk about,
Sure.
a lot of times people think it's just physical strength. It is mind and body in it. You cannot just have one and not have the other. From my perspective, just from my perspective, because that baby could have quit a long time ago, but she was like, you see every time she like mustered up enough and she flipped her, and then the girl, you could tell the girl had some words because she flipped her back, and then even it got to the point where I guess the judge was getting ready to tap her out, and she just kept going. And you know more of what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to give a description to the audience. But talk about the mental preparation along with the physical preparation, because a lot of times people don't link the two together.
Yeah. So definitely a lot of mental, right? Back in the day, I think whatever one of my coaches and wherever he heard it from, but sports, talking about football, whatever, it's 90% mental, 10% physical, right?
Okay, that's a pause moment. Okay, hold on. I have on my platform, when somebody says something that needs to be repeated or it stands out, I have a pause moment. So this is a pause. I need you to say that again, because It needs to resonate with someone on some level that we don't know of. You say it again. You said 90% what?
90% mental, 10% physical.
Okay.
Right. So that's how you get to your 100 there. But yeah, it is definitely a mental thing. The resiliency, coming back, right? Being exhausted. So your body's telling you you're done, but your mind tells your body, hey, we still got to finish this thing, right? Um, and that's the part that I love about martial arts. That's what I love about individual competition, sports competition, especially for our youngsters, right? All kids. So you mentioned the story of seeing the clip of the young lady. She's learning life lessons just through that one competition that's preparing her for later on,
And
right?
guess how old she was? 6 years
Oh,
old.
facts. There it is. Good, good. That's a beautiful thing. My my 11-year-old, I think he had his first competition about six, and
Mm.
um, learning to push through, right? Learning to not give up, because you're giving up on yourself, and that's a mental thing, right? Yes, it's hard, but guess what? Life is hard,
Whew.
you know, and life is gonna hit you harder than this kid is hitting you right now, right? Or put you in the choke tighter than this kid is putting you in the choke, right? And win or lose, learning how to deal with that, right? Being humble in victory, you know,
Yes.
keeping your head up, being confident in defeat, you know. Um, and
Yes.
these are things that my little ones are learning. These are things that the kids that come to our gym are learning, um, to keep pushing. So again, later on in life, because as adults, we know life gets hard.
Whew. What they
and,
said,
and
life
and
be
things,
life and
yes, and things don't always work out like we dream, and but so what are you going to do? You're going to quit? You're just going to stop? Mm, you know what I mean? You're going to cry and just not give up, or you're going to cry and keep going? Yes, it's hard. It's all right. Yep, wipe that off. Let's go. You got to
yes.
finish this round, you know.
Yes.
um, and so with that, that mental part is definitely a big thing. And as you progress in competition, right? Um, in the fight game, and that's one thing that a lot of the the rest of the world doesn't know, and the fighters don't really talk about. The highs are the highs, and the lows are the lows, right? So, I've been in the arena at the Orleans, and there's over whatever a few thousand people watching me compete and cheering for you as you knock somebody out, right? But I've been on the other side of that, and I've been at the Riviera Hotel and Casino, and this dude is on top of me, punching me in the face, and now they're cheering for him, and I just took an L. And so, what do you do with that? What person comes out of that, right? So what
Mm-hmm.
do you do after that loss? You know what I mean? And so those are the life lessons that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so I could have said forget it and quit everything, and you kind of go through these mental lows, and depression tries to seep in, and again, just speaking of the fighter and the competitor, right? You think you let your whole team down, you think you let your family down, you think you let, but everybody's still rocking with you.
Yeah.
So it's all in your head, right? And you're like, and so this is where you end up having to come out of that and figure that out.
Yeah.
Again, a beautiful thing. And so if our young people can do that early, because I've also worked at high schools and coached high school sports, and one of the things that I've noticed, that competitive spirit, there's a lack of that competitive spirit now with our young people. So if somebody's just faster than me, then I'm not even going to run the race,
Mm.
you know. But when we grew up, if you was faster than me, hey, tomorrow it's on. I'm gonna lace up these shoes, or I'm gonna take these shoes off. We're gonna run it back right now. Like, hold on, let me get right. So in life, and we have to compete, right? So for our young men and anybody that's looking to build their own, it is competition, right? To get to the top levels, And so learning how to do that through martial arts, through
I
sports,
will
appreciate about the game.
character building in any and every aspect, and any sports, any field you can go in and build your character. It applies to your life and it'll help you navigate life. So I'm definitely thankful that you said that and shared. Again, I'm gonna use that 90% mental, 10% what? Physical.
Yep.
I like that. I like that. And when you really sit down and think about it, the ones that have in any aspect, they had to prepare themselves mentally to go forward, even when things were good, bad, or in between. They had to keep going, and they had to have this ready.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's discipline, right? As you don't feel like doing this stuff every day, right? But you got to show up.
yeah,
You got to show up and make it happen.
yeah,
And give it 100%. So
yeah. I definitely agree with that. That's dedication. And if you say you're gonna do something, get in that car and do it, or walk that path and do it. So be a person of your word. And every once in a while things come about and you cannot, but be consistently who you are, and they'll forgive you when those times that you can't show up, because you've done 97% of what you say you will do. And that 3%, people will give you grace. And I'm not saying that to say to stop. I'm just saying that we all need grace when it comes to that.
absolutely, yeah. So having that integrity, right? So when we met and you mentioned the platform and those things, yeah, I got you. Let's do it.
Yes.
So when it's time to do it, I remember I said I got you. Let's do it.
You
So
know
we're gonna
what?
do it. Yeah.
Speaking of that, that's a great thing. That was many months ago, and I wasn't even in my second season yet. And I told him, you said yes. And I was like, okay. And I didn't think you would remember me. And when I followed back up, you was like, yep, it's done. So I respect you and I honor you for that. And that says a lot to who you are, period. So thank you for that. Let's talk about music again. Remember, I told you it's turned me all the way out. And I need you, sir, to identify a song that you sung as a child and then you became adult and you was like, wait, I didn't know they said that. I've been singing this song this whole entire time. And with the essence of me talking about love, it could be a love song or it could just be a song that you was like, yes, whatever. And then you realize, like,
Right.
oh, it said that. Can you identify
Yeah.
one?
Absolutely. I had to think about this, and I was like, wait a minute, where yeah. So some songs popped in my head, and then I was like, okay, I got one. So Secret Lovers, you remember that joint
Yes.
from Atlantic Star?
Yes.
Right. So growing up, I thought it was a love song, and there was, and as I got older, I found out they was cheating, and I was like, wait a minute, this is what the song is about. So that's the one that got me, you know, as I got older, because the whole time I'm like, oh man, they in love. That's cool. Yeah, secret love. That's who we are, right? And then, what? Oh, he's at the house. They can't get caught. Wait a minute, run that back. Like, what? Yeah. So So that's my song there that got me, I think, the most.
Yeah. And now, once you realize what it's actually talking about, you can never see it the same. You're like, wait a minute. They talking about
Yeah.
hiding out. I mean, there's some real life stuff, but again, your initial thought it was about a love song.
Right. Right. And it was old school, so I thought it was like old school love, but they old school, I'm like, wait a
Well,
minute.
yeah, that's what it is. But also too, we can adapt that to life. We see things one way, but as we have experience in life, we go, wait a minute, that's not what. Now I understand what my mother was talking about. Oh, I definitely understand what my dad or my aunt was talking about. What I was talking about was not, that was some game. They talking about real life stuff. So all of that kind of applies when it comes to the songs that we thought we knew and then we
Hmm.
realized it wasn't what we thought.
Yeah, that one got me. That one threw me for a loop after I actually understood what they was talking about.
So, um, one thing I did notice that you didn't talk about, but I'll bring up the, let me get it right. So, you guys do, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you do local, regional, and national MAA training for different competitions, correct?
Hmm.
What has been, so I said local, national, and regional. Which sector has been the biggest part that you've participated in or your group has participated in?
Um, well, locally is it's always a little easier to compete locally. And like I said, with Vegas being the fight capital, there's jujitsu tournaments like every month out here.
Really?
Yeah. So the kids. So when you saw the young lady competing, that happens every month somewhere in
Wow.
Vegas. Yeah. Um, and then when it comes to the kickboxing and MMA, there's events at least every other month somewhere here in Vegas, right? But we've been down to Arizona. We've been out to California. Actually, just got back from Long Island. So I was out in New York. I had a fighter competing out there. So to travel and do what we love and share what we love with the rest of the world is a pretty awesome thing. But yeah, so having a traveling team, it's always kind of good to rally the troops and go to another state and try to take over
Uh,
hang out, right? So you well, now we get the Airbnbs and everybody's there, and everybody make sure everybody makes weight for their fights and their competitions. Like, hey man, don't eat too much, after the win, then you can enjoy. Right? Put the
yes.
pizza down. Um, so and it's good exposure for them, good experience to get out and see some more, do some more, right? Just with something that everybody appreciates and has a passion.
So if someone is, they tap into this podcast and they see and hear all the things that you've kind of given layers to what this is, and they say, yes, this is what I want to do. They've already been a fan, but they didn't know which way to go. What
Sure.
would be the first set that you would encourage someone if they are green? When I mean green, they have no experience, but they have a passion, meaning they watch it, they can tell you who the people are, but they have no physical or mental connection to it. What would you suggest, or how would you guide a person that came into your place and say, I want to be, where you were 30, you said you did in 30 days. What would you suggest to them to get them on the right path?
Yeah. So yeah, if you're super green and know nothing, haven't done anything, right? The first thing is find a local gym to get involved in, right? With with being out here in Las Vegas, there's jujitsu gyms. There's quite a few jujitsu gyms all over. There's martial arts gyms all over. There's boxing gyms, historical boxing gyms, and get in there and they should at least have some type of free trial. So you should be able to do one class, one day, 3 days, something for a trial to see if that place is a good fit for you, if you're a good fit for that place, um, and if it's something that you actually want to start paying a membership for and doing those things, right? If they're not doing a free trial, then that's a little suspicious for me, because it's like you're going to try to lock somebody into a contract, or you're trying to get people to pay this money, but they don't even know if they like your instructing. Because it is the atmosphere and the vibe and personalities and those types of things, right? So if because brand new, you unless you grew up pretty physical like I did, like you're okay with it, even being brand new. Because I grew up physical. I had an older brother. We played football. I was banging. We're fighting. We're doing all that early on. So it's like, okay. Um, but if you haven't really done that, you gotta kind of ease into it and kind of learn what this is actually all about. And I wouldn't advise, sparring, where you're actually practicing and somebody else is punching you in the face until you actually know what's going on, right? Sometimes people get into gyms and they're like, oh yeah, no, I'll jump in the ring, and then they're getting touched up, and then it's like, oh no, this ain't for me. But you didn't really learn it, you know what I mean? You just got in there, and somebody who's experienced, of course, is going to touch you up because that's what it is. So if you're wanting to check out a place, check them out. They should have a trial. Don't go in there with your ego, please.
Okay, we need to say that one more time.
Yeah. Don't go in there with your ego. It doesn't even matter. You could have been the baddest dude on the block. You could have been the street fight king, but it's different when you're dealing with trained fighters. Okay. Um, and you'll learn real quick if you do that, because there's only one way to teach those guys. So it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you the man. All right, come on, get this work then, right? Because and they'll learn real quick, and that's it's a humbling experience. But whether it's jujitsu or martial arts, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, all of those things, right? Just be humble and be there to learn, right? Especially being a new person, right? Guy or girl. Um, and if you're looking for self-defense, if you're looking for competition, let them know that, and then they can kind of guide you in the right direction, you know. Um, if you have some experience, so just be open and actually share who you are and what you're about, right? If you have experience, if you trained before, awesome. Let them know that, and then they can know, okay, well, let's take you over here and you can work with these guys or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
If you're super brand new, just let them know that. But don't come in thinking you're the best thing walking.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing that needs to be provided. Wherever you are, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in sports, you don't go into anybody else place and say, I'm the best. You have
Right.
not assessed anything. You don't know who got what or can do what. So I think to me, that's part of being mature enough to let me assess the situation before I go in talking about who I am. And really, the real champions go in humble, quiet, and they do what they need to do. And people go, whoa, versus you saying who you are. Let your work speak for who you are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Facts. And so
Yeah.
that goes to everything, right? So like you said, whether it's a real work environment, a gym environment, whatever that looks like, let your work
Yeah.
speak for sure.
Yes. Well, Coach Mo, I have one more music question before we get out of here. Remember, I told you it's turned me out. I keep saying it over and over again.
Yeah.
So, can you share with us a song that a love song or just a song, period, that you would dedicate to the world that they can remember? Coach Mo said this. Coach Mo said that. Can you identify a song that you would dedicate to the world?
Man, the world.
Yes, to the world. And it got to be a song. It could be any song that's on your heart.
Gotcha. I had to drink water on that. You got me dedicated to the song, so take a minute to really figure this one out. Um, so because of my faith and my belief, um, dedicating to the world, I got to go with in Christ alone.
And
Yeah. So
can you give me a few of the lyrics? You don't have to sing it, and why you chose this particular song.
okay, so few of the lyrics. Look at you, man. I'm not a singer. I don't
You don't
sing.
have to sing. You
We
can just
we
say the
we
lyrics.
we fight around here. You know?
Well,
Um,
you could fight for the Lord with this one.
let me see. Let me see. In Christ alone, my hope is found. Right. Um, he is my strength and some other stuff. Now you put me on the spot. Now I don't remember the lyrics off the top of my head. But yeah, so in Christ alone. So just knowing that, without God, without Christ, none of this stuff is possible. And the ultimate love is God, you know. And so that's where I'm dedicating to the world, so that hopefully they know what that is, right? And if they don't know, then they need to find out soon, because the world is crazy. And
Well, I thank you and tell us the title of the song again.
in Christ alone. Oh, here we go. We got the lyrics. In Christ alone, my hope is found. He is my light, my strength, my song. This cornerstone, this solid ground, firm through the fiercest drought and storm. Uh, what heights of love, what depths of peace, when fears are stilled, when striving cease. My comforter, my all in all, here in the love of Christ I stand.
All right.
So there you
Yay.
go.
We got the lyrics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yay.
yeah, yeah. So
Thank
there's
you.
that.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And before we get out of here, I always ask my guests to provide any social media handles, any upcoming events, and please also tell us again about where you're located, your hours of operation, and anything else you'd like to share about your business.
Okay, sounds good. So, well, again, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, you're try to throw me off with these questions, but I appreciate you. But again, my name is Coach Mo, owner and head coach at Animal Instincts Muay Thai and BJJ. You can find our Instagram under AI underscore Muay Thai underscore BJJ. Um, our website is AIMuayThaiBJJ.com. If you have any questions, you can send us a message through the website. You can send me a message through Instagram. We're located in Henderson, Nevada, so we're just on the southeast side of the city. So if you're close to Henderson, you want to stop by, come through. If you just flew into town and you want to come in, come through. We're about 15 minutes from the airport. And yeah, if you have any questions about self-defense, where to train, how to train, reach out to us and we'll be happy to help.
Amazing, you guys. Please put your hands together and thank Mr. Coach Mo. Yay! Thank you so very much. For me, anytime I have the women on, I bow to them, and to the men, I salute. So I salute you. And before we get out of here, I know I said thank you, but do you have any last words you would like to share with my audience?
Hey, I appreciate you. So appreciate what you're doing, spreading love in the world, in the city, in the community. It was definitely a pleasure meeting you and an honor to be on your podcast. And so thank you for the work that you're doing. To the community, let's keep working, right? Don't talk about it, be about it. We got stuff to do, you know. So if you're thinking about doing something, get it done. And just know that you got support out there. So if I know you, I support you. If I don't know you, I support you. So just sending positive vibes and good health and love to everybody. All right.
Perfect. Yes, there you go. Go see it in person. Thank you.
All right now.